I'm Randy Reid, editor of the Edison Report, and I'm here in Cincinnati at the headquarters of LSI Industries with Dennis Wells, the CEO. Dennis, welcome.
Welcome, Randy. We're glad you're here visiting with us. Very pleased that you could make it here and spend some time at LSI. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been about 25 years since I was here. And full disclosure, I used to sell ballast to LSI about 25 years ago, and I would come in and meet the buyer, and many times I could meet with Bob. Not all the times, but I could sit down and talk with Bob, learn a little about the industry and the business. Tell me a little about your relationship with Bob and when he brought you on.
Bob and I had a good relationship, and he told me lots of stories about LSI and the founding. LSI goes back 40 years now. We're 1 year short of 40 years, and he started the company when gas stations started to go self-serve. Do you remember those days? We were probably teenagers then or younger, but they went self-serve, and people started pumping their own gas, and they had to put a canopy up above us to keep us dry. And Bob came out with a fixture that eventually became the Scottsdale, which is very famous.
Sure.
Very high market share in gasoline canopies, and even today the Scottsdale name is extremely well known. But Bob built a company as an entrepreneur. He and two partners, they became publicly traded, grew the company to over 300 million. So great story here, and we miss Bob, but he was a great founder.
But he brought it to a certain level, and then he brings in professional management to bring it to a new level.
That's right, exactly right.
So you gave me a tour. You were very gracious, and I saw lots of products. Many I'm familiar with, some I'm not. And I see some of the crossover line, and that name kind of strikes me. How is the crossover going to LED away from the legacy?
Wow, it is. LED has really come on strong. I remember 10 years ago we kept saying LED's coming next year, right? And Light Fair, you'd start to see some fixtures, and we'd always say, just wait till next year. Well,
and some of us were saying it'll never work.
It'll never work.
Okay,
well,
I was dead wrong there.
Well, next year's here. We just announced that last month our fixture shipments, lighting fixture shipments, were 70% LED. That's a new record for us.
And that's units or dollars?
It's in dollars.
Okay.
That's in dollars.
That's huge. I've got to think for a minute. I know some companies that only do LED, but most don't. So of the legacy companies, I don't think I know of anyone that would have a higher market share.
I think we're a leader in LED as far as this crossover to LED has occurred.
Now, let's discuss that, because the legacy products, 30%, you still sell them, they're still profitable.
That's right.
They're going away at some point, but you will continue building those, or is your goal to totally get out of that and be an all LED?
Well, we'd like to be 100% LED. Okay, because changeovers in the factory, it makes some HID, then you got to make some LED. We prefer to go 100% LED. We're on that side of the camp. But until that happens, we'll continue to make HID. Normally it's a replacement, a Scottsdale replacement. Somebody broke a canopy fixture. We're going to still provide those for a number of years to come.
But new stations would not go with a Scottsdale metal halide?
No, it's very, very rare. I can't think of a recent order where the quantity was high enough to be that of an HID in a new store.
So we're here in November 2015. Do you have a prediction for when you'd be 100% LED?
I've read some articles that talk about 2020 they expect 90%.
Okay.
So
and
I keep thinking 2020 is a long time away, but really it's not, right? So 5 years from now, maybe we'll be getting very close, 90 plus.
Okay. We've talked about the Scottsdale, and this is what I know LSI for, is really that canopy business that the company has dominated for 20 or 25 years. Tell us a little bit about some of your other products that you have and the other markets that you serve.
So when I competed against LSI, my impression was king of the canopy fixture, very strong in outdoor parking lots. I might find them in some multi-story parking facilities. But when I came into LSI, it was a different story. I found a lot of indoor fixtures, 2x2s, 2x4s, pendant hang, high bays, outdoor landscape.
Like the Greenlee line,
the Greenlee line was an acquisition. Our goal since I've been here is to let others know, like me, that there's more to LSI than just canopy fixtures. We're a full broad line of LED now.
I know at Light Fair, I was just overwhelmed because I saw so many things.
That was our message at Light Fair, was did you know? We wanted people to leave the booth and go, I didn't know LSI had this breadth of LED fixtures. So
Now you still you have the canopy business, or what I call petroleum, or think of petroleum.
Right.
You go to market through petroleum reps,
that's right.
and then you have traditional lighting reps.
That's right.
For your other products.
So we call them C&I agents into the general market. We have quite a number of those coast to coast, and then we have our specialty petroleum reps that focus mainly. They will, on their line card, they would have our fixtures, they would have pump buoy controls, they would have
Okay.
different types of products in the canopy that you would find, the hoses, some of the electrical products, but mainly their focus is things you would use in a gas station.
When we were taking our walkthrough, I saw a few downlights and some track lights, and of course I always think of Juno, and the big news recently has been about the Acuity acquisition. I know that many of your reps are Juno reps. Do you see an opportunity there?
Well, quite possibly. That's all fresh news. We were taking bets that we didn't bet on Acuity to make this buy. We had heard that Juno was available, but many of us were choosing a different person,
Okay.
different company to make that acquisition. So we're still going, what's going on? But certainly our reps have called us. They're not sure. They're hearing that it's business as usual at this point. So we'll have to see how things work out.
So Dennis, I see a lot of new products, and I don't normally associate a lot of new products with LSI. Tell me a little bit about your R&D team and what you're doing.
So this is the new LSI. I believe that we must be a product launching company, that there needs to be a high degree of new products coming in. You know, LED fixtures are very different than HID fixtures and even fluorescent. You know, we're talking about a printed circuit board, we're talking about technology, we're talking about digital type of products. So, we're working very hard to round out the line. We want to be known as that full line LED supplier of indoor, outdoor, landscape, exit and emergency, and everything in between. So you're going to see a nice flow of new products from LSI as we go forward.
And do patent issues come up?
Not normally. We have ourselves quite a bit of patents around reflecting LED. We use a reflector technology, and we have a nice patent portfolio out there. But otherwise, we're not facing any real issues around patents in the marketplace with the products that we want to make and take to market.
I see your tagline, lighting plus graphics equal image. From my perspective, nobody else can combine those two. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, that's another well-kept secret at LSI, is that we are more than a lighting company. We will compete all day long with lighting fixtures, indoor, outdoor, as I mentioned previously, but we also have a graphics division where we print graphics, we make signs, and we love to merge the two together, lighting plus graphics, and help our customers create an image.
And again, no other lighting company has graphics,
Not
correct?
that I'm aware of, because we're talking about very large printers, ink printers, and roll bed printers and things like this. Electrified signs, channel letter machines, so a very unique business.
Do graphics companies have lighting companies?
No, none that we know of. They would tend
Okay.
to buy fixtures from others. So we actually have graphics companies that will buy fixtures from us to round out the image. So you're talking about backlighting or downlighting or front lighting or landscape lighting upwards. There's many times you need lighting on your sign or graphics to make it pop.
Earlier this year at Light Fair, you showed me Smart Vision, and I was really impressed by that. Tell the audience a little bit about Smart Vision and how's that going for you?
Smart Vision is a trade name, and it's our way of defining Internet of Things. What is LSI's definition of Internet of Things? How are we going to be in the connected world of the future? And we hired a new CTO, Andy Forrester, joined us not too long ago, and he pulled 5 of our best engineers together into a team, and they are working on lots of different things that can go in a fixture. Cameras, speakers, more importantly sensors, motion sensors, detectors, near-field communication, beacon sensors. We think that the lighting fixture is a great place to house these sensors that interact with your smartphone, especially in a retail environment. So lots of definitions out there of Internet of Things. We're defining it for us, and we call it Smart Vision.
Okay, so let's say that my wife goes into a mall, which I don't think she's ever done that, and she would maybe go into Macy's with her smartphone. How would this work?
Well, one would think that Macy's would have an app that she would download and turn on, and that the store would know that she came through the front door. Maybe she's loaded in her name, her age, her Macy's card number. They would know what she bought last time.
She'd lie on her age.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, probably.
So,
But as she goes into the store, the fixtures are normally in a grid, so they
Sure.
would know her GPS location if we had sensors in every fixture. Today, digital signage is big too, and we're a big player in digital signage. So why wouldn't all the digital signs that are in her path change and advertise to her purses, ladies' shoes? We wouldn't want to show her men's neckties, right? That would be waste of advertising. So sensors in the digital signs, we can start to personally advertise to her. Maybe we notice she's under fixture 172, and that's where the purses are at. Why not hit her with a coupon, 20% off, while in store only? So you're starting to get into personal advertising and making a shopping experience for your wife as she goes through the store that's customized to her.
that's fascinating.
It's an exciting world.
I think we're in the infancy with that, but it will be interesting to see. Okay, let's talk a little bit about people and your management team.
Right.
Tell me who all you've added and what are some of your goals, and a little bit about the Kaizen events you've been doing.
Well, there's 9 folks on the executive team, and half are we're existing here at LSI, and the other half we
Okay.
brought in seasoned professionals from the industry. We have Paul Foster, who formerly worked at Acuity, where I met him. We have John Bagwell, also from Acuity, and then Andy Forster, I mentioned, came from
Sure.
Cooper, the Eaton Cooper folks, but I know him back from my Square D days 20 plus years ago. So we have a nice team that's from the industry. There's 9 of us plus myself. We're gelling well. Our numbers are great. We're just, like pinch me every morning. Is this really happening? Our performance, financial performance gets better and better each quarter. People are watching LSI now. Our stock is going up. We get lots of calls.
Well, let's speak
So,
about that,
sorry?
because you've been here slightly over a year,
That's right.
and I think the stock has almost doubled.
Almost doubled. From,
Congratulations.
well,
That's
thank you.
phenomenal.
I say thank you for the team here. I accept your congratulations for the team, though. It's not me. I'm just the spokesperson for this company. It's a lot. It's 1,500 people.
Okay.
All the people of LSI working very hard to make daily improvements and to take care of the customer every single day.
And many of those people own stock in LSI, am I correct?
Oh, virtually every employee is a stockholder.
Okay, I think that makes a big difference. And just for the record, I did check right before the interview, and you are at a 52-week high. So even more congratulations on that. Okay, let's talk a little about the future. What are some of the goals and aspirations? And if we sit back down in 5 years, what are we going to see?
Well, as I mentioned before, technology is really coming on strong, and we want to get in now and get our place in this Internet of Things, the connectivity. I certainly see on lighting, 90+% of what we'll make is LED. It's a technical product, with printed circuit boards. I think graphics will continue to advance. What would I say is what LED was to lighting, digital signage is to graphics. Where there used to be a printed banner, people are going to put up we don't call it a TV, we call it a digital sign. Where there used to be a menu board behind the counter printed, that's almost all gone digital now. So lots of technology changing in all of our businesses. Maybe it's a good time to talk about the technology business that John Bagwell manages. This is where we house our lighting controls products. We have occupancy sensors, relay panels, wireless mesh network, all the controls you would see in today's need for Title 24 to be LEED certified. Okay. And then we also have a very nice printed circuit board company in Columbus that we acquired. Surface mount technology. So we're capable of making a lot of our own LED products, both the drivers and the LED arrays.
And some of the reflectors as well, I believe.
We make all of our reflectors as well. So we're a very integrated company.
Vertically integrated. I was not aware of that. Dennis, tell me about the LSI business system. What does that mean?
Well, it's a term, but it's, I believe if you put the right people in the right jobs, but then you give them the correct tools, they'll be successful. LSI Business System is the tools that they need. It's multifaceted. So I'll tell you about a couple of the key points. One is Kaizen Events. We believe in bringing people together to solve a problem. Cross-functional people. We may bring in someone from accounting, someone from HR, someone from the factory floor, the experts who know about the issue we're trying to solve. We bring them into a room for 2 days, 3 days. Whiteboards all over, markers, and they have a facilitator, and they're encouraged to solve the problem or at least make a significant improvement during that 2 or 3 day event. We'd like to see all 1,500 of our employees participate in a Kaizen event, or 2 or 3 during the year,
Okay.
to improve the areas in which they work. We believe over a number of years, as you put Kaizen event on top of Kaizen event, that's how we make change.
How many of these events have you done so far?
We've done between 30 and 40 so far in 6 months. We've brought in some black belts from the industry that help facilitate and lead. Paul Foster has came in. He's an expert in the business system to help us get started. We're just getting started, but
Can you quantify? Do you have dollar numbers that you've been able to show as a result?
well, I can give you some examples. We did a
Please.
Kaizen event on freight cost. Okay, so
Okay.
we brought the freight managers in from all of our locations, put them in a room for 4 days. In this case, we were able to find somewhere close to $2 million in annual savings.
Wow.
Now we have to go harvest that savings, but there's just an example where a very large number was identified, and hard work by the people will make that come true. That's why our stock is up, because last quarter we announced some very large increases in our gross profit. Okay, the
Okay.
message was heard by the investors. They liked that. Well, those improvements were driven by Kaizen events.
Okay.
There's more and more yet to come. We are just getting started. I believe in people. I believe that 99% of the people in the world, and those that work for LSI, want to do a good job, want to be appreciated, want to be valued, and want to have their opinion heard. My job is to unleash those folks, give them the
Right.
tools by which to do it, trust them to make good decisions, empower them, and I believe that's how you change a company.
Dennis, tell us a little more about the Downlight and the track light that I saw, because again, I sure wasn't expecting to see that product from you.
Right, that's a new product launch. As I mentioned earlier, 70% of our shipments last month were LED. Well, that's coming from new products, and Track and Downlight is one of the new products that we've launched recently. Starting to get some headway, very high performance products, good, better, best type of concept.
Okay.
Downlight and Track are difficult. There's so many combinations that you always seem
Right.
to not have in stock what the orders come in, but we're working very hard on this line. Our agents seem to be accepting of it, and I think you'll see us grow in that category as we go forward.
And profitable?
Absolutely,
so.
very profitable.
And then what about Phillips 66? That was another big job.
That's a great project that brings in graphics. We talked a little bit ago about lighting plus graphics equal image, but that's a great project for me to talk about graphics some. So think about a Phillips 66 gas station. We're going to redo the canopy fixtures to LED. We're going to take all the parking lot lights to LED. But we're going to do cove lighting around the outside with LED. Now let's talk graphics. We're going to put new decals on the pumps.
Okay.
We're going to put a new header around the canopy itself, some new LED border tubing. Now let's go inside. We're going to do LED lighting inside, but we're going to do all new graphics. The beer cave gets new graphics. The headers above the Coca-Cola machines get all new headers. They have lots of drop-down signage above the rows telling you where to find various products. We're redoing all of that.
Let me
for
just
Phillips
interrupt, because the
66.
way I understand that business, they really don't make much margin off the gas. Their true margin comes from inside the store.
That's right.
So that's why it's so important, I would assume.
That's right. Their goal is when you're finished pumping gas, they want you to come inside. Okay? We're even working on TV toppers for the gas pumps.
Okay?
Not in all Phillips 66, but in some, where that TV topper begins to talk to you, advertise to you, encourages you when you're finished pumping gas to go in and buy Coke, buy a newspaper, something where the margins are much higher.
And I assume if it's 90 degrees, they're going to pitch a Coke to me. And if it's 40 degrees, they're going to pitch coffee or chili or something like that.
These guys are
right?
getting very clever. With one little sensor, temperature sensor, they can start to feed into those TV toppers exactly what you're talking about. They're very clever these days.
That's fascinating. Well, Dennis, I want to congratulate you on the tremendous success you've had in 1 year. And I do understand the fact about putting a good team together and you trying to give credit to your team, but the leadership starts at the top. So congratulations.
Thank you. Randy, we appreciate you coming to visit.
Bet.
Take care.
All right. So this morning I had breakfast with Sean Toney, your president of LSI Lighting Solutions, and he said to be sure and check out the pendant mounted decorative.
Well, Sean and his guys are doing a great job, both in engineering and in sales. We have a lot of new folks that have come in. Like I said before, you're not going to recognize LSI in the months and quarters to come. This is not what I thought LSI was. Okay? But when I got here, I was surprised and even more surprised. These are some new fixtures, LED fixtures of the architectural, decorative type. We're getting some great reviews. They're selling nicely, and I'm really pleased that LSI is transforming into this new company.
Yeah, again, these are things I would not expect from LSI, but they're very attractive. I love the new logo. I really like the way that you incorporated the old logo with some of the new color. Tell me a little bit about it.
I'm glad you noticed that we kept some of the old and brought in the new, but we really wanted to freshen up again the new LSI. We had J. Matt Sueda joined us as our director of marketing, helped us go through a process to come up with this new logo. We really like it. The red, symbolizes aggressiveness and excitement. Sure. And out front. So this is the new logo, and we're very proud of it. Being well received.